taboos and breaking taboos. That is what this episode is all about. And first, I want to ask you a question. Do you trust yourself? The reason that I'm asking this is that when you do trust yourself, you're less susceptible to others defining who you are and what you should do, how you should behave, etc., in a negative and non-beneficial or even harmful way. When you do know who you are intrinsically, and you by that trust yourself, who you are, and when you have integrity and your intentions come from integrity, and you just know that and thus trust in yourself, then you don't have to let others make you believe something that isn't true. Okay, so that said, the topic of today is indeed taboos and breaking them. When I speak about breaking taboos, I don't mean just doing something and do it out in the open and just to provoke and to get attention. And by that, of course, negative attention. I don't mean that at all by breaking taboos. What I do mean actually with breaking taboos is making things discussable. Why? Because then issues can come to the surface and there can be shed light on it, and things can be healed by by bringing it to the surface, by acknowledging it, by shedding light on it, by discussing it with those that you trust, of course. And then indeed things can be healed. And why do I say that? Because I always say when things aren't discussed, when they are held inside and suppressed, then energy, life energy, when it gets suppressed, it comes out in a non-beneficial way. It comes out misformed, and sometimes when it's suppressed all along and isn't faced and brought to the surface and talked about, and when there isn't shed light on it, it can even become a monster, so to say. It can come out as a monstrous appearance. And that is what we really want to avoid. And by avoiding, again, I don't mean to push it away or something. I mean, we don't want that to happen, of course. Okay, so taboos. When I'm talking about taboos, you can, of course, bring a lot up. There are a lot of taboos that are, as I also said in my previous videos, there are a lot of things that are lied about constantly by people. And I am someone that, you know, from actually when I was a child, when I was younger, I love clarity. I appreciate when things are brought out in the open and discussed, and with mutual respect, that it is possible to discuss things, and that you aren't lied to constantly, time after time, by let's say society, because society consists of many different people and also belief systems. And when people don't want subjects out in the open, and they don't want it to be talked about, then a lot of the times, they're lying about it. There's a lot of propaganda that consists of complete lies instead of the truth and things that actually happen and are real. And so that is something that I would like to break today, break through. And you know, we can't discuss everything and anything in one video, of course, or in any video. So please be aware of the fact that I, in my videos, do only scratch the surface, but I try to go as deep as possible, and I always align it, fine-tune it with what I get that in the moment is the thing that can be discussed or should be discussed for the collective consciousness that watches my videos, so that that subject, that topic that is meant for the one that is looking and listening at that moment, at that point, can be touched in a good way, and then in the best case be healed as well. But for more profound interaction and healing of topics and subjects, of course, it is important to have real connection, real interactive and interactivity, and then things can really we can really dive deeper into things, and things can really be healed eventually. So what I would want to talk about today is a taboo that is actually very broad. You can even say out in the open, is everything that has to do with abuse in any form. So by abuse I mean behavior that is deliberately and actively causing harm to someone else, to beings, to other beings, or yourself, of course, as well. Behavior that is deliberately and actively done that harms a being. So by that I mean belittling someone, and using negative force to bring someone down, talking down on someone, making them feel small, to really make them feel small. And actually abuse comes from when someone is negative and feels miserable themselves, and they want to suppress someone else and make them feel bad about themselves, just to make them feel bad of themselves. And then it's not, for example, for drawing boundaries or something, or protecting yourself or something. No, it's really deliberately to break someone down and to hurt them, and to, without any good cause behind it. So that is what I would like to talk about today, and I want to emphasize that any being, male, female, small, big, young, old, any being can experience abuse from either themselves or others, but most of the time when they abuse themselves, it is because it was inflicted by the behavior or the example of others. So I really want to emphasize that anyone can have to deal with or experience abuse. I really, really, really want to emphasize that. So I'm not excluding any being from this. And that is very important, because that in itself is a form of abuse, when people say, yeah, but only this type of being, only this group is being abused and the others aren't. Or even when they're two, when people want to put two groups against each other, opposite each other, and say, well, this group, this kind of being is abused and the other one is the attacker. Well, actually, they're both being abused at the same time. I really want to put my emphasis on this, because a lot of people don't see it, and they're abused by others at the same time, when they let themselves believe that there is one group or one individual, there's someone put you know, put against it or on the opposite of the other, and they're said that only one of the two is being abused. That in itself is abuse. When people deliberately make people believe that there are opposites, that there are, how to say it, that there are parties that are opposite of each other and one is abusing the other. It isn't true. There's abuse from both sides, and when people are made believe that either one is abused, then that is abuse by itself as well. So I really want to discuss this with you. I first of all want to say that abuse a lot of the times isn't done consciously, and that is why I want to discuss this topic, so that people can become conscious about certain behavior. And when you are conscious about it, then you can, when you see it, or when you experience that you are doing it yourself, then you can change it. And I really want to put the emphasis on it, that you don't punish yourself for it when you experience that you're doing it yourself. Just be aware of it without any judgment, and by judgment I mean attacking yourself or someone else that does the abuse. You can have a feeling about it, and you can you also, actually every theme in the entire world and every subject by itself is neutral. So when I say judge, and every word actually is neutral. So when I say judge, and to judge, and judgment in itself is actually neutral. You can how do you say it, notice something and acknowledge it and speak it out, and that you can call a judgment too. But I'm speaking about, you know, a harmful judgment. So by that I want to say, just observe it, be aware of it, and be neutral about it. So you can do a neutral judgment about it, and you can even have an opinion about it, because it is also important that it is acknowledged. But I want to say, don't attack yourself or someone else on it, and just become aware. And then things can change and be healed. And that is also what I mean by just making things discussable. When you do that together with others, and you mention it, you mention what happens, what you see happens, what you experience happens, what you or also when something has already happened before, then you can talk about it and say, well, what I noticed and is this and that. And when you do have information, and someone is talking to you and is accusing you for something, and you know that it isn't true, which happens a lot with me, actually since a couple of years, since mostly since I began for myself, when I started actively with my practice and with building a business that I wanted to put out there to be able to support people with things. Actually, from that moment, more and more people either privately as well as business-wise, or when not even knowing me, began accusing me for things that weren't true at all, and judging me while they didn't know anything about me. Actually, they just met me and then they said things like, yeah, you this and that, or you shouldn't do this and that, and or you shouldn't behave like that, or you shouldn't. And I was really like, what does that come from? And I am aware of the fact that for some reason, of course, I am you know, the energy that I'm broadcasting, because I made a choice to start my business and to support people. You know, you really then I really made a deliberate choice to utilize my experience and everything that I've gone through in life, and that I can help people with, that want to be helped and supported, and that resonate with it and can relate, that I really want to make a beneficial difference in the world, and that I'm really that I really chose to commit to a higher cause, and actually always the highest cause. That is something that a lot of people don't really understand, but what I want to say is that I always align everything I do and say with the highest cause, and people can call it source or God or the universe or whatever you may call it. I tune in and I align everything I do and what I express with what is with the highest cost, and that means also in every situation, in every context, that what is needed and what is meant to be expressed will come out of me. And I can say that because even when I was a little child, I actually made the vow to always do that, always align my intrinsic being, my core, with the highest good. So I don't always know what will happen then, because I'm just aligned with that cause, and then I can express things and people can feel they have to attack me on it and have to judge me because they feel or think I shouldn't do that, or I shouldn't express that, or I shouldn't say that, or they could be it also happens they could be jealous, or they don't feel like I have the right to to be who I am and to do what I do and to want to live my life purpose, and that I'm doing well and I'm living healthy and taking my responsibilities in life, and by that I get certain results in their eyes is luck, or I shouldn't deserve that, or shouldn't want to deserve that or claim that for myself. That really happens. And as I said, the last few years it has happened more than ever, because before that people liked the way I was. Well, actually there isn't a lot of difference between who I was then and who I am now, because I've always wanted to help people, in the sense that I wanted to let them feel good about themselves, and that they didn't have to feel shame or guilt about just being who they are. And then we come to the topic abuse again, because a lot of people since they were young were told or made believe that they're trash, actually, that they aren't good as they are, and that they should feel ashamed of themselves and should feel guilty because they are there even, and they should shut their mouths and hide themselves in a corner because you're gross, you're not supposed to be here, you're etc., etc., you know, you're evil even. You see my expression, and that is what I said before. I'm this expressive because the ones that feel this and can relate have to feel that they're supported, that they're understood, that they're in a safe space, and that, you know, they can feel how that perhaps happened to them, but they're in a safe space now, and that they can let go of it and release it, because it isn't about them. It is something that the ones did to them also feel or felt within themselves, because it was also inflicted on them. And that is the way it goes from generation on generation. It is caused by society, it's caused by a lot of different people, individuals, groups, parties that don't actually even know you at all. And it's also, and I'm not generalizing, because I don't like generalizing, because there are always individuals or groups that are in these how to say it, in these umbrella groups or parties that do certain harmful things, but it's not all of them. So you shouldn't judge cultures, or you shouldn't judge governments, or you shouldn't judge businesses or whatever as a whole, because it's never all of them. It's individuals and little groups that cause harm, and then, you know, so but even what I want to say is governments indeed, and businesses, companies, and religion as well. Because we all know that in a lot of religions, and again, I'm not judging religion all by itself in a negative way. I'm just saying that a lot of beings, a lot of people were told from generation upon generation, decade after decade, ages actually, that we are born in sin, that we're monsters, that we're evil, that we're gross, that you shouldn't even watch in the mirror because you're you know, I really want to, together with you all guys, let that go, to stop it, and that it can be healed. That is what I always say: heal the past generations, build sane future generations now. The only way we can heal the past and past generations and build sane future and future generations is by healing it ourselves now. And I really want to say that it is very important to take your responsibility, as I call it. Take your responsibility in life and say to yourself, I'm no victim. And stop behaving as a victim. Stop creating victims by behaving as a victim, by telling yourself that you are a victim and then living being a victim. Because it is very harmful to yourself and to others, to all that is actually. You know, when you're behaving like a victim, you contribute to abuse. And by stopping behaving like a victim, I mean that you acknowledge that you have grief, that you have pain, perhaps, that you are hurt, and that you find people that you trust, either male or female, either young or old, because it doesn't matter at all for people to be trustworthy and credible. But first you have to trust yourself, of course, that you're able to in that case, make a judgment about what is good for you and what can help you and who is able to contribute to the healing process. And that could be someone that you don't know, that isn't in your direct environment. That is possible because, you know, the world consists of many beings that are out there that have total other experience than you have. And, you know, it's real it's really overrated that people have to have gone through the same thing as you have been through to be able to have empathy and understand what you've been through, what you're going through, and be able to help you. It's really, really overrated. In fact, I would say never judge someone on first, as they say, their cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. And don't judge someone about for what you think, again the cover, what you think their experience is or their ability to be able to have empathy for a situation and to help you out and to support you in the healing process and to stop the victimhood so that you can stand in your own strength and in your actual and entire potential, and because they're in another space at that moment, and perhaps they will always be, that doesn't mean that they don't understand you. Because there are beings, including me, ever since I was a child, as I also said in my previous video, ever since I was a child, I've been that empathetic that I always saw the other people hurting, and I was feeling like, oh, I don't want them to hurt. I want them to feel good about themselves and about life. I didn't go through the same that they were going through, but I saw their pain, I saw their grief, I saw them hurting. And isn't that enough to be able to understand that it isn't a good thing that people are hurting, and that it isn't nice and wonderful, and that if they're open to it, that there are ways to get them out of it and feel better again, or even perhaps for the first time actually really feeling good about themselves, about circumstances, and about life. So what I do want to tell is, please step out of the victimhood, acknowledge what you're going through or what you went through, get it to the surface, shed light on it. When you want to do that and you are able to do it by yourself, then you can. You can also call in energetic beings, what I call the energetic team, guides, angels, or maybe better, what you perhaps call God, or the universe, or source again. And I want to ask you to ask support from the highest beings, the highest frequencies, the unharmful beings, unharmful energies, spheres, whatever you want to call it. Then it's always good. But do something about it. Take your responsibility for yourself and the greater good, about life, because that is what it is about actually. And know that you are good enough. Know that you are worthy And just because someone else tells you you're not, or you should feel ashamed or guilty or sinful or whatever negative thing that they make you believe, please let go of it. Take your responsibility and believe in yourself. Know thyself, know yourself, and behave that way. And again, then things can still be difficult, and people can still bother you or want to harm you, etc. But if you know your worth, if you know that people aren't allowed to harm you when you come from a good place, which you do, then you just know that you shouldn't believe them, and you can ask for support. And then when things don't go that easily, that is another story. But you have the right. You have the right to be supported. You have the right on a good life. You have the right to thrive. If you make the choice, you should make the choice. You can make the choice. You are allowed to make the choice. So just do it. Make that choice. That things will be better for you. And by that, for others as well. As I said before, and as I always say, taking good care of yourself makes you automatically good for your environment and for everything and anyone involved, and for the highest good. And even when you know that when people are hurting you, and you know that they do it because they have been hurt or are hurting, then it's your duty, and you can take the responsibility to take good care of yourself and to draw very clear boundaries, firm boundaries, because that is one thing of taking good care of yourself, one of the many things. Then you know that you're taking good care of yourself, for yourself and for everyone involved, for the highest good. Okay, so I also want to tell you that if you want, if it feels good for you, if it resonates, you can also apply for a free session with me or my partner or the both of us, when you really feel like, I really want to get something off my chest, and I really want to know the right direction to go in for myself. Then you can apply for a free call, a free session, a free strategy session. When you make the choice that you want things to change and that you want to heal, then you can schedule a call with us, and then we will support you in finding the right pathway for you to be able to heal yourself as well. And we want to support you in that. And this we do so you can even step outside of your situation and have a broader perspective of what is possible for you. Because, you know, there are endless possibilities. And we just want to help you to see them. If you really want to change things in a beneficial way, and heal. And when you really want to live your true potential, your true authentic self, and your own life purpose, your true life purpose, your real life purpose, that is totally unique to who you are. So again, others can't say anything about it in a negative way. You shouldn't believe them. You shouldn't believe others when they say this isn't meant for you, or you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't behave like that, when it is beneficial for you and when you are actually aligned with the greatest cause. So if you feel like that, you are also welcome to book a free strategy session with us, and I put a link with the video so you can go there and make an appointment with us, because we truly want everyone to win in life, to succeed in a good way, in a non-harmful way. That is our life purpose, and that is what we live. And so we're supporting people in that, and only the people that really do want the best for themselves and others as well. So that being said, as I said before, I can only scratch the surface in the videos that I'm putting out there in public, into the open. And when you really want to go deeper and to the core, and to really take things to the surface, and I'm also talking about traumas, and want to shed light on it and want them to be healed, then it's very important to connect directly. Again, male, female, young, old, it doesn't matter. When it resonates with you and you want to discuss this with either me or my partner or both of us, then you're welcome. And have no fear, have no no, there's another one. There's another thing that I really want to share with you. A lot of, I have friends, male friends, that told me that they don't dare to approach a women in general, the way they are, enthusiastically, spontaneously, from integrity, because they are afraid that people might think that they want to harm the women. It's one major taboo that I feel it is important to discuss, because a lot of men are victim. Both men and women are victim when it comes to this topic. Both. And that is why certain behavior and interactions come about, because they are both hurt by the abusive effects of this taboo. So they're scared, but I really want to put my emphasis on it. Men feel no shame to approach me or other women that you trust when you want to discuss things with them. Because not every woman feels attacked by a man when they're approaching us. When they come from integrity and they just want to connect. It is never when I am approaching a man and I am spontaneous and I want to connect with them and I'm coming from love, from unconditional love, which the place where I come from, and I express to every being. When I express that to men and connect with men from that space, from that place, it never is about sex or whatever, or about wanting to attack them and to control them or whatever gross thing. I never have that intention. So I really want to, pull the stress off of that altogether, actually, for anyone who relates. Feel no shame to approach someone from another gender. Feel no shame, because sometimes it is even better that beings from the opposite gender, the opposite sex is what they call it, connect with each other, because, as I said before, people don't have to go through something to be able to understand you and to be able to support you and help you, to be able to understand you, to be able to respect you, to be able to appreciate you, to be able to wanting the best for you. Phew, it's such a heavy load. So I really want us all to let go of that and to be open and honest to each other also about this topic. For God's sake, especially about this topic, please. As I also said in one of my quotes, please, women, understand that we are a womb man. We have a womb indeed. But we're still, we're still the same beings, or we are no enemies. I've always said that that I want the opposite to be true. Men and women, male and female, complement each other, and it is wonderful when they work together and that they can even create a greater, unimaginable, wonderful creation together, individually and in groups and collectively. It really hurts me to see when women say, men are the perpetrators, men are the enemies, and they do this to us, and we are the victims. And I also heard when it's the other way around. When men say, yeah, women are so evil, they're bitches, and we want to control them and put them down because otherwise we are scared, actually. It starts with really understanding that we are no enemies at all. And this, again, brings me to what I always say, there's no duality. There exists no duality, no dualism. I'm talking about non-dualism. Yes, there are a lot of different divergent beings and colors and frequencies and shapes and forms in everything, in every situation, in any situation, in everything in life. That's the wonderful thing about it. And that is the way, and everyone and anyone and everything and anything is unique in itself. Even though people don't believe it or want to make others believe that it isn't true. Everything, anything is unique. Everyone, anyone is unique, and that is the beauty of it. Then that is why we can complement each other. That is why everyone is worthy in their own being, and that is why there's enough for anyone. There's abundance. There's no scarcity, there's abundance. And that is the wonderful thing about it. That is why there's always also space for you. That is why you can also be here. If you just refrain from deliberately and deliberately causing harm to others. Actually causing harm to others. Let go of the lies you were told, or that you're still telling yourself. Let go of all that, please. And when this doesn't resonate with you at all, it's good as well. You go your way, I go mine, and that is wonderful as well. So you don't have to have a judgment about me or yourself, not even about yourself, because a lot of people also, when they come to me and they say, yes, but I'm not that far yet, but I don't do this, or I never asked you to judge yourself. Actually, I ask you to do the opposite. Stop judging yourself. If you want. That's your choice. It's a possibility. You are allowed to stop judging yourself. And also, you have no need to judge me when, especially when you don't know me at all, when you're not asking me any question, you don't know the context, you don't know my situation, you only see a tiny spot of the entire surface even. So please refrain from that, from judging and having opinions and expressing them out in the open so anyone can see, or even only me. And also refrain from hurting yourself. Again, if you do resonate and you feel like you want to connect, you're free, you're welcome, and it is open for you to connect with me, with us. Thank you for attending. It's been quite a long video, but I had to put it out there. And when you're still here, it's really wonderful. And then by all means, I'd say, let's connect. Okay. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful evening, wonderful night, wherever you are and what applies to you. Have a wonderful life, and when you ever feel the need to connect for one reason or another, and also when it comes to real severe trauma, we are also there. We are there for you when you really want to heal. So have no shame. Feel no guilt about what once happened or what happened to you or whatever, because there are actually quite some beings that come to us, that tell their story, that are very open to us and trust us, even when they don't know us that long, but they know and they feel that they can trust us. And that other people have a severe judgment about, and we are like, really? Stop hurting each other like that. When someone is hurting themselves, in themselves, stop making someone hurt even more. Instead, support them in healing it. So I want to say, help each other, support each other, and again, whatever it is that you want to get off your chest and want to be healed, you can also come to us and connect with us. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you again for attending. With all our unconditional love and blessings from the highest good. Until soon.